Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. This one's about the MyPlayer Builder in Next Gen 2K21. Cody, we saw this last week, and probably some of the people watching this video right now probably watched us try to figure this out on live stream. We've covered the badges, we've covered the takeovers. Let's cover the MyPlayer Builder and what we see that's new on this screen we have in front of us right now.
We're going to get a little more in detail here, Spencer, and I'm excited. Overall first thoughts, no more pie charts. We've seen some of the categories change. We know there's different badges and some different allocations here, so I'm ready to jump right into it.
Yeah, and the first thing that we know is you're going to set your vitals, right? So you can see underneath set your MyPlayer's potential. Probably prior to this screen, they already set the height, the weight, and the wingspan. And once you set those vitals, you're essentially dictating the caps that you have available on the left-hand side with your attributes and your physicals as well. So depending on those, that height, that weight, that wingspan, you're going to have different maxes on the left-hand side that you can allocate your points to. But what some people might not see here is the points that you get, right? The maximum amount of points that you get. And that's because that's changed too. So what are we looking at with the overall and maxing out categories?
To your point about no pie charts and the vitals, one thing we saw questions in our live stream was, so do you get to choose your caps? And the answer is no. It depends on your vitals, exactly like Spencer said. So here we can see they chose a 6'5" player, 205 weight, wingspan 6'10", and that's going to dictate what his attributes go up to. So you can see 95 close shot, super high, probably with the wingspan. This could be a slasher, but probably not because his driving, dunk, and layup are a little bit lower, but it looks like a shooter. So a 94 cap, 95. If you want to push it up that high, you can do it, and that's what they've chosen to do here. So it's interesting with no pie charts. The other thing, Spencer, is physicals now are chosen by the player, how fast you want to make them, your acceleration, so on and so forth, instead of a pie chart. So if you decide to rank your physicals all the way up, you're not going to be as good in other aspects now, or you're not going to be able to get as many potential badges in those categories. So it was interesting to see what the chat had to say when we asked, hey, would you go straight athletic or physical, or would you rather be more skilled in some of these categories? And it was split, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, I think that's what we saw. And you might notice your overall up here, you got a maximum of 95. And as you're tuning up your different attributes and physicals, your overall is going up as well. So that's what's going to limit you from just completely maxing out every category here and every attribute. You can kind of think of this as once you set those vitals and you do have some maximums, you're kind of dictating your pie chart a little bit, right? How green with shooting do you want to go? Do you want to max them all out? Or do you want to leave some attributes for some of the other like defensive categories, playmaking, or your physicals, like you said? So this gives you more customization. You're just not able to max out everything, but you're right, determining the potential of your player as your overall is going to go up as well.
Totally. And if we skip ahead, Spencer, I'm going to pause my video. This is different. We didn't have this in 2K21 current gen. But now if you're increasing an attribute, so we're on defensive rebounding right now, he's pushing the bar up and it shows you in the potential badges which one are relevant to that single attribute. So that's pretty cool. He also does it with finishing. I think we see a blue badge pop up in the finishing category too.
Basically, when you're on an attribute, you can press R1 to show badges that are related to that attribute. Now, as you rank that up, you'll get those badges becoming available to actually apply your potential badge points to. And then as you rank up that category overall, you'll earn more badge points to then spend on those badges. So one difference here is, if you're not going to rank one of these attribute categories up very much, you're not going to have very many, not only will you not have badge points to spend, you actually won't have many badges to spend them on if you don't rank up certain attributes.
Right, and that actually just sparked my interest there, Spencer. So do you think it actually is, I don't know if we can tell for sure, but do you think if you don't rank up certain categories enough, the badges just aren't available?
Correct. So if you look at when he's ranking up any of these categories, and as they're going from a gold potential to a Hall of Fame potential, that's happening on specific badges when he's ranking up specific attributes. So no longer can you just maybe leave one attribute completely blank or at a minimum if you want to get the badges that are related to it.
Right.
If you want to be able to spend the points on those specific badges. So we're going to really have to dig in here and find out what badges, and that may be a separate video, honestly, now that we're thinking about it, what badges are related to what attributes. And you have to imagine if you're, these different types of builds, what you're focusing on, and you're used to getting a certain badge, you may need to rank up the appropriate attribute just to have that available to you.
And this, I don't know why this didn't click in my head before it, Spencer, but I think they're adding this because if you recall last year when we made all of those badge videos, depending on what build you had, some of the badges don't even show up. And this has to be that mechanism. And now they're allowing us to kind of see ahead of time where we can allocate different attribute points to get badges just in case. So looks like a little addition from 2K. And I think this will be really helpful at the beginning of the game and creating builds. We'll probably get our own hang of it as we go, but especially for beginners too, this is a huge addition because I bet a lot of times people were making builds and they're like, wait a second, I got this shooting badge on one build, but why don't I have it on another? So now this sort of clicks, checks out. I like the addition.
The other thing here is you now have 4 Hall of Fame categories.
Right.
If you can get enough potential badge points in each, in this video, I believe he actually does on this build because he gets to 5 on defense. As long as you have 4 or more, it shows you the potential badges that you can have as Hall of Fame. Now you can't, even if these badges are available to you because you got the attribute up a little bit, it may only be available up to gold, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like the entire category is Hall of Fame, except for in this case shooting because he maxed everything out. But for some of these other defensive finishing categories, he can get Hall of Fame in a couple badges. He can only go up to gold in some others. So it's now not necessarily that category specific, it's like badge specific based on those attributes.
Right, which is a great addition too. I think having it down to the attribute specifically adds a lot of customization and strategic thinking as you're creating your build. The only other thing here, Spencer, and we talked about it on the live stream, and maybe it's in our takeover video, but I really wish they would show what takeovers you have available on this screen too. That's the one thing. If we could backtrack, you see that blank space in the middle here at the bottom. I wish they would show you, hey, these are the takeovers you'll be able to unlock if you use this attribute layout that you have. So unfortunately, that's not here now, but who knows? It could be in the final version of the game, and if it's not, we might be going ahead to seeing what takeovers we get and then jumping back. But we'll see.
Yeah, there's certainly space here to shift that entire right-hand side up and add a little bar at the bottom, just showing every takeover. In the same way, I would think that you show the badges.
Exactly.
You can show them popping up on different categories. The other thing here that we didn't cover in this video that we did on the live stream is there are certain attributes that as you rank them up, you are required to have a certain physicals level. So you can see the vertical, the speed, as he ranked up some of his other attributes, those had to get to a certain level in order for him to actually have the attributes so high. Mm-hmm. And then you can go down and tweak them even further. But that's something to consider as well, because I'm sure that it sort of spins your overall points, if you will, as you're doing that.
For sure. And then another thing I just remembered that we talked about too is they took out some attributes or combined them. The lateral quickness is gone in defense and rebounding. The post fades and shooting is now combined into post control on finishing. So a couple different tweaks there. I think a lot of people are excited that lateral quickness is gone, and hopefully that's going to better balance guards and locks and how they should be moving compared to the bigs in the center centers who obviously should be slower for the most part. So hopefully that lateral quickness taken out of this section of the game will allow Mike Wang and the team to balance the quickness and speed across the players a little bit better.
And you're also adjusting what badges you're going to be getting. If you're switching post to the finishing category, you may be ending up with more finishing badges on post scores, or less shooting badges, vice versa. Just it'll switch up how these builds kind of land when you're finished with your attributes.
For sure. This is going to be different. I like it. I think we talked about again in the stream that customization is great. I think we'll see a lot of different types of builds. Of course, though, there will be a meta eventually on the My Career side of things, but the more customization, the better. And I'm really looking forward to getting into this MyPlayer Builder and playing around.
Yep, and we have an entire takeover video as well if you guys are wondering what happens after you get past this screen. So go check that out. We'll link it in the description. We'll also link our badge video when we go over all the new badges in Next Gen 2K21 as well. You'll see some of the logos on there here in this video, but we go into more detail on both badges and takeovers. Links in the description for those two. That's pretty much it. We're excited about the new MyPlayer Builder. We're excited to get our hands on it, see what kind of builds we can create, and if we definitely have the correct understanding of everything that we can do with it so far. Let us know your guys' thoughts down below if there's anything that we missed. As always, from all of us here at Patience Gaming, we'll see y'all next time.